roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Well, there'll be roads. Just not give me roads, but probably better one. We'll get right back to the debate tonight with Karen Kwiatkowski. She's also running for Congress in the 6th Congressional District of Virginia, and it's interesting. I know her inserting herself into this rhetoric of the campaign season is definitely going to have an impact there in Virginia, and them, those. You know, the people that won't leave us alone definitely are not ignoring that, I am sure. Now,
let me tell you, I just heard Liberty Stickers ad. I ordered a bunch of Liberty stickers, an assortment of pro-Constitution, got Liberty, all this kind of thing, and we had our first house party yesterday, and of course they gave them away as party favors. But not with my name on it. But we're just going to change that whole thinking. That's part of our mission in this campaign.
The injection of the libertarian infection into the bone marrow of Virginia politics, for which there is no cure.
You got it.
That's how it works, man.
Yeah.
And I know you know.
The stickers are great, and they got delivered fast. So I'm a witness to how good that. Company is. So
very cool. Now, let's go ahead and get back to the debate tonight, because I know a lot of this, the rhetoric going on in this is going to have an impact on your race. And so the next one that comes up is Tim Pawlenty. Who the heck is he?
Yeah, well, that's what everybody's asking. You know, people aren't really that familiar with him. I actually, I have to be. I'm in one of those. I see him as a very bland Republican, and I'm looking here online at some of his positions, and basically he's not very hard over on, hey, we're doing the wrong thing. You know, he's no Ron Paul, let's put it that way. He's no Ron Paul, and he doesn't even go as far as Michelle Bachmann does in criticizing the, he seems like he's actually too nice of a guy. Now, we'll see how he does tonight, but he's a standard Republican, establishment Republican, and he's going to, his campaign thing is, well, I know how to grow economies. Well, the next time I hear somebody say they're going to Washington to grow an economy, I'm going to puke. That's not what you're supposed to be doing in Washington. Just get the heck out. Stop consuming and wasting resources. Stop printing money. Stop breaking windows overseas. Leave us alone. And you'll see an economy grow. And we're not going to give you credit for growing the economy. But they use this language. And when I see people use that language, I say it's an establishment Republican. Or a Democrat, for God's sake. You can hear a Democrat say the same thing, we'll grow the economy. Okay. Well, anyway,
how much better do you think the people are informed? I mean, as time has gone on, a lot of people are paying attention, people that we hang out with, young people, going to, the agorists, that are like, you're still voting. They're already preparing for the apocalypse, economically. Yeah. So what do you think? They don't get it, or are they increasing in number? Or
I don't think these politicians get it. The only one that really gets it is Ron Paul. He understands that principle is, in fact, in this day and age, radical. And he sticks to principle, and that makes him radical. And that's what the young people love. They love it. They love truth. They love the fact-based assessment of what's going on. And they like somebody that's going to stand up for principle, somebody they can trust. His appeal to the young people cannot, and is not duplicated by any of these other candidates. In fact, to me, they're all a bunch of old Soviet-era talking heads, any of them.
But they're doing everything they can to make sure that is ignored. And I don't see how they're going to fully get away with it. That doesn't mean that, Ron Paul's going to win or they allow him to be the nominee, but it's going to have the same impact it had last time, where people are going, oh, so the system's that broke. Okay. Yeah, good to know.
Yeah.
And then we go to let's get to Santorum real quick. Santorum is, aside from the fact that the number that Jon Stewart from Daily Show did on him, I mean, his whole position is what? What value does he have to the rhetoric of the campaign?
I actually know very little about him. Is he the anti-immigration guy?
The reason they hammered on him, I'm sure, but they hammered on him because he had an anti-gay perspective, and he's Christian, and he's going to try and get the Iowa vote and so
he's
on.
anti-immigration too. I think he's kind of that in that category. A lot of certain conservatives or pseudo-conservatives like him. Again, he's, what appeal would he have? First off, I'm curious to see who's going to even watch this debate. Ron Paul people are going to watch it to see their guy. I'm going to watch it to see Ron Paul. But I can't imagine that any of these people can really distinguish themselves, from each other and from establishment republicanism. I just don't see how they could do it. And Santorum is to me, my impression, although I'm not as well informed as I could be on him, my impression is he's an establishment Republican.
Establishment. Okay, now Mitt Romney. Now here, if I were to look at all these guys and you have the press out there, who are they going to ask the questions to? Or it's going to be obvious it's going to be Ron Paul versus everybody. But, they're going to try and paint some of the guys as having a little bit of overlap. And I don't see how they're going to do it other than screaming Tea Party with Michelle all the time. But Mitt Romney, who in the heck does he represent?
Money and the establishment, and he's liberal. He is, to me, the John McCain of this race. He'll be the establishment liberal Republican in their attempt to woo away Obama voters who were middle-of-the-roaders who thought Obama was going to, was actually promising something, found out that he wasn't, and are unhappy with the state of the economy, but are afraid of conservatism, afraid of Tea Party types, and afraid of Ron Paul. They're afraid of liberty, they're afraid of the Constitution. So if you're afraid of the Constitution, you're afraid of liberty, and you don't want the energy of a Ron Paul group or the energy of the Tea Party, per se, who are you going to vote for? Well, you got to have a liberal Republican, and they like his money. I think they like his money. And, I hate to make it about religion, but it always is about religion. And, the anti-Mormon bias is fading away. He's very wealthy, and Mormons will vote for him. And right there, you don't need a lot to beat Obama. You don't need a lot. If you can bring every Mormon on board and get the standard establishment Republicans to vote for Romney, he can beat Obama. He could beat Obama today, I think. Now, does that give us any change? No, it gives us no change whatsoever. So, it'll be interesting. They're shutting out the one guy who promises constitutional government and is good to his word. The only honest man up there, or woman for that matter, is the only honest person up there, Ron Paul.
Well, I'm looking at the end result of this campaign election cycle, and we had such a staying power of the philosophy and the injection of the infection into world politics. And now we're looking at, I just see 2012 as the 2012 Ron Paul speaking tour. So as many times as he can get up there as the others just drop away and fade away. And, of course, he's going to outraise them in money. He's going to have more people on the ground in the actual conventions, at the caucuses, at the primaries. Ron Paul is not going away, but they're going to try and pretend that he is.
Well, you know what? They will. But I'll tell you this, too. The delegates that will select the candidates, these delegates have practiced already. They understand how the Republican system works, how the nominating, how the delegate system works. They understand the games, and I read so much stuff. My own brother and his wife were delegates in Dallas, and they were appalled at how the party operated and worked to shut out the Ron Paul people. But the problem is we are dynamic. We learn, and so I think that might be the wild card in the next election, and that is have the Ron Paul supporters, have the liberty-minded people become familiar enough and wise enough in how nomination committees and conventions in the states work.
Well, I saw
that we
that
can
they
actually, change. We can change it, and we can change it by using their own system against them.
I saw that they did last time, Karen. They knew. They were well schooled, certainly in a lot of them that we were associated with. They knew, and they didn't care. They just flip off lights, change votes, election fraud. Debold machines. 3 hours later, we'll tell you. They went through. Now, of course, that served our purpose by showing just how corrupt they were. But, I'm wondering, they just going to be, just like they are now, a third world country with a shiny tie. They're just going to do it better, a little bit more clandestine about it, a little bit more.
Well, they might, but, the economy's worse. There's a lot more people who have been out of work for a lot longer, and people who are out of work in a country like ours, they get on the internet and they read things about the Fed. They read things about Ron Paul. They get themselves smart. If we can get those people to activate, there is possibility of political change. I'm not necessarily saying it comes through the voting booth, but we need to get out there and support Ron Paul in using everything that we have, including past knowledge of how the Republican Party works, because it's the lineup of candidates they have, except for Ron Paul, it's an embarrassment.
Embarrassment! Good way of putting it, assuming that I cared. But, the thing, you're going to represent to the universe, the planet, the solar system, the galaxy, anybody. This is the best that we got. Those best Republicans got. Is that it? Well, if it wasn't for Ron Paul,
all they got, then we need to all vote for Ron Paul.
All Ron Paul. We're going to have fun tonight. We'll talk about tomorrow what the thought process went through after we viewed the debate tonight. Thanks, Karen. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Good talking to you.
We have Scott Horton coming on next, and we'll talk about Iran. Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.